Sean Edwards, and I'm the business owner of Harvest Painting Impressions, and I provide interior and exterior painting and deck staining services to all residential and commercial clients. At Harvest Painting Impressions, I embody the perspective that every home or property has a look and quality of its own, and my primary goal with you as a valued customer is to accentuate the look of your home by adding life to it through the art of applying color. With Harvest Painting Impressions as a customer, you will have the option to acquire a variety of service options, promotions, senior discounts, material and labor warranties included with any project. In addition to that, I value the opportunity to provide you with a free and comprehensive service plan that is simple and specifically designed to promote quality performance and, most importantly, your satisfaction. For your free estimate, you can contact me at area code 815-590-6489.
Hey, what is y'all doing? What is y'all doing? Hi, Sean. Y'all know I be getting great downloads when I'm in the shower. I wasn't even in the motherfucking shower. My mind works so crazy. So listen, this is not about us learning because we are Melanites and we are scholars. This is just about us rebooting. When we reboot, we remember, our memory comes back in to our understanding. I just got the shower. I feel so refreshed. It comes back into our understanding. So let's take just a quick second, and we're going to accept the information and the download as we reboot and program our system to accept the information that is being given. This is given information straight from the soul, the internet, and the spirit. But because I needed to research, because that's kind of how my mind works, I like to also research some things that I'm being given, because they will tell me to also research some things. This is shit that you can actually go find, research, and it's valuable to me. It also coincides what is in this Melanite Bible. Amen. Okay. All right. Let a bitch be able to see. Hallelujah. Okay. Well, there y'all go. Hope you got you some pen and paper. I'm gonna tell y'all just how my motherfucking mind works, bitch. I'm gonna burn this little Palo Santos, this little kermis. It's kermis. They call it Palo Santos in the simulation, but Papa Candelo calls it kermis. So we call it kermis. Go on and do you a couple deep breathings so you can get your system right and acclimated. Okay, let's get into it. Now, I got notes everywhere in my phone, honey, because I was going back and forth between Google and Chat GPT and my Otter, which I was recording my verbal notes on. Okay, I'm a light a candle or two. Did y'all see all of the peoples that was in here earlier today when we was talking about the whole Mo3 shit? Y'all seen that shit? This is us having that family conversation when you be like, did you see that bitch come over here? You seen that bitch come in here with your uncle? Why the fuck would that bitch think she can come over here with your uncle knowing we don't fuck with her like that? Okay. Girl, let's get into it. Guys, let's get into it. So first, I show the fuck did audio, cousin audio. He said, oh, girl says she's scared. Who? Don't give a fuck. What's the first lie we gonna get into tonight? This rising, whatever the fuck time it is. Don't know, don't care. Hey, Monty. What's up, Lish? What's up to my mind? Hey, Rising. Just my opinion, y'all. Hey, Lily, Amari. What's going on? What's up, Kiss Cassie? So, when my guys come in, when I see men come into the building, I always speak to them. You know why? Because I want them to feel welcome, because this is a woman's platform and I want them to understand this is a family platform. So you are so welcome to my guys with my penises. Okay. So that's why I always try to make sure I speak to the males when they come in. Okay. I don't want nobody to think that I'm a pick me, because bitch, that ain't never yet. All right. Selenite. All right. So, what are these? What are these? What are these? These are ears, but what do they do? See, this is a lie. This blew my motherfucking top back. This is why I'm starting with this. What you said, lobes. I like that in you. But these are ears, and what do they do? You say antennas, ears. Listening tools. You say the twitch, hear, and listen. Okay. Do you know that you actually hear and listen and pick up sound via your temporal lobes? These are really your ears. These are speakers. These are input-output devices. Input-output devices. They go hand in hand. These are speakers, and this is your microphone. These are your ears. You actually hear with your temporal lobes. Blew my fucking mind. And I'm sure y'all know this already. So like I said, I'm not teaching. We gonna go over some information we probably didn't forget because we don't remember that we know it. Okay. Fucked me up. Let's get into it. Now I'm gonna just give you this, and I'm gonna go all the way back to the top and tell you how the fuck I even came to this point. Because bitch, my mind works in levels, okay? All right. So my question to the chat GPT, because it was to the motherboard, right? And then they told me to put it in chat GPT so I could validate the information that's being given. Okay. I said, what is the function of the temple? The temples in the brain, the mind, the head, the temporal lobes. The term temple in the context of the brain typically refers to the temporal lobe, which is located on the sides of the brain. Okay. Now, I told you when we learned about Baphomet and Baphindia and Baphomet, they are over your ears, hearing, and emotion. Amen. All right. We're not going to really call him Amon-Ra, although that is Sirian. We just going to say that. So the temporal lobes play several important roles in various cognitive functions. Here are some key functions associated with the temporal lobes. Auditory processing. The temporal lobes are primarily responsible for processing auditory information. They contain the primary auditory cortex, which helps interpreting sounds, including speech and music. You fucking hear with your temporal lobes, bro. Your motherfucking ears are an input device that are speakers. They are communicative devices, which they pick up frequency and vibration, and it vibrates and send light waves into your temporal lobes, which is how you fucking hear the information. Memory formation. The temporal lobes, particularly the hippocampus, located within them, are crucial for forming new memories and retrieving previously learned information. So they also could be seen as parts of Aphrodite and Adonai, okay, which the hippocampus, right, And what are they? They are rhinos and hippopotamuses. Ain't that crazy? They're cuckoos. Now, which is also could be seen as the unconscious, because you have the conscious, unconscious, subconscious. The unconscious is where the ether of the Akashic records lie, right? And so therefore, these are probably where the unconscious lies. Okay. All right. So forming new memories and retrieving previously learned information, they play a significant role in both short-term and long-term memory. So language comprehension. The left temporal lobe houses Wernicke's area, which is essential for, and I don't know if that's Wernicke's or Wernicke's, I don't know. Excuse me, understanding spoken and written language. And it's only the left temporal lobe. The left temporal lobe, which is essential for understanding spoken and written language, damage to this area can result in language comprehension difficulties. So did they rewire parts of your left temporal lobe when they are talking about the scrambling of what is it called, y'all? The ladder. The ladder, they was building the motherfucking ladder. They were building the ladder. Would I be fucking damn? You know what I mean? Because the ladder is what? DNA. Because that's how it looks. It's DNA. They scrambled the tongues, right? So did they rewire your left temporal lobe? The Tower of Babel. Damn, there you go. Gratitude. So they rewired, scrambled the language of comprehension. Also, because we communicated via the mind. We didn't have verbal language. We communicated via the mind because remember we talked about it the other day. You shoot up into the frequency band, which is the communicative band of the cosmolite. We're going to get into what the cosmolite actually is, bitch. That's going to blow your mind too. Hopefully blew my mind. All of this blew my mind. I just love learning and remembering. Okay. So emotional responses. The temporal lobes are involved in the processing of emotions and emotional memories. They interact with the limbic system, which is central to emotional regulation. Now, that's why I said, because we've always learned, since understanding Baphindia and Baphomet, we understood that they are over the ears, the listening, the hear, the hair, the emotions. Shut up. Right. Because they're over hair. Bitch, that just blew my fucking top, babe. Okay, slow yourself down. Because Baphomet and Baphindia are over emotions, the temporal lobes, hearing, the ears, communication, and the hair. Your hair is all over your body, baby. And those are antennas. They pick up communication. What? Crazy. Visual processing. The temporal lobes also contribute to visual processing, particularly in recognizing objects and faces, as well as integrating visual information with other sensory inputs. Learning and recognition, they play a role in recognizing familiar faces, places, and objects, which is important for social interactions and navigation. Overall, the temporal lobes are integral to many aspects of cognition, including perception, memory, language, and emotion, making them essential for everyday functions. Now, Yosef, which is your strength, your power, your protection. See how all of the deities, the intra beings work together? Because Yosef is over your temporal lobes, your neck, your back, your shoulders, your arms, right? He's your power structure, okay? Which is fucking amazing. So now let's get back to, we're shaving off our antennas. Yes. Yes, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. These are antennas. Blew my motherfucking mind. Hold on. We're going to talk about it. Let's go back to the very beginning of how this fucking conversation started with the soul and the spirit tonight. Okay, let's go all the way to the top. Okay. I kept hearing cosmonaut in my head. And I kept saying, what spirit? Cosmonaut. I said, what does cosmonaut mean? They said, look it up. I said, okay. Cosmonaut. The term cosmonaut refers to a person, because I've heard it before, but I didn't know the definition. Refers to a person trained to travel and work in space. It is derived from the Russian word cosmonaut, which combines cosmos, meaning universe, and nauts, meaning sailor. Cosmonauts undergo rigorous training to prepare for various aspects of space missions, including operating spacecrafts, conducting science experiments, and handling emergencies in space. The term is often associated with space explorers from Russia and the Soviet Union, in contrast to the term astronaut, which is commonly used in the United States and in other countries. So we're actually, that's great. We're actually talking about the universe, your mind, your brain. So you are traveling. It is the ether and energy actually inside of the brain, the stems, the functions is why they wanted me to even get into it, into the whole word of cosmonaut. So it refers to a person trained to travel and work in space. It is derived from the Russian word. Cosmonauts undergo rigorous training and all that shit. Okay. So from that, I started to understand the word cosmolite. So the grandmother keeps telling me that we are cosmolite melanite beings, okay? Just a Russian word for astronaut. But it's not just a Russian word for astronaut. And that's why I restated it. It is a word that actually means trained inside of universal functions. That may have went over your head a little bit. That's why I reworded it, because I want you to understand what we're talking about when we are breaking it down. So it's not just a word for an astronaut. Yes, it's a universal word that could mean, but that's why I reworded it. I read it again for you because I want you to understand the work and travel in space, meaning, again, cosmos, which means universe. The universe. So we're also talking about like scientists. You know what I mean? Gratitude for the ancestors sending this message to our government is we have here. What do you mean? I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Are you going to be a distraction? Because I just need to know if I need to block you real quick. And you can come back another time. Because what are we talking about? Let's press pause. because you're always here. So I know you're a cousin, but I'm just trying to understand what we doing. What we doing? What we doing? What we doing? I'm in a great space. Just want to understand. Let's press pause. Let's burn some more of this here kermes. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we're understanding that we are talking about also scientists, because this is going to go a little deeper than what we're expecting here. So I'm going to click out of there because I also have, like I said, I have notes in my auto, and I also took pictures of different notes as well. So I got to walk myself because I don't want to get sidetracked. Okay. Okay. So in hearing that, they begin to talk to me about cosmolite. So cosmos, again, is the universe, right? And so I looked up the various definitions of light, how you spell it, and what it could mean. So even though I looked up LITE first, it took me down and told me this is where I need to be. I need to be at LIGHT. Light, the natural agent that stimulates sight and makes things visible. So if we're talking about the cosmos, the universe, and then light, the cosmolite, it is the stimulation of the activation inside of your universe that helps you to be able to see. Now, we could be talking about actual vision, or we can be talking about the spectrum. Let me get to that. The spectroscope. It is essential, especially in the visible region of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we can be talking about visions or actual being visual. Okay. Okay. Got it. Heard you, Mr. Rena. So, and then they give you some other shit about an expression in someone's eyes indicating a particular emotion or mood. Provide with light or lighting to illuminate, right? And so again, it takes us back to Genesis, let there be light. So we are talking about the cosmolite is the spark of light. It is the Sirion. It is the combustible energy within your universe that brings forth light, space, the communication, the awakening, the rising of frequency. And it is the connection of light, your universe, and your crystalline being as a melanite. Now, let me see here. I got some shit on hold. Wait a minute. I'm hoping that y'all understand that I'm making sense a little bit. Okay. Okay, I gotta hold on to them. Okay, so let me get back over here. So the melanite, right? So we all know what melanite is. Melanite is a dark black or dark brown version of garnet crystal, which is inside of the androdite family. Androdite is a crystal. It is crystalline. It is a mineral. So then that took me to looking up and understanding actual, like, I know what a mineral is, but I like to actually get the breakdown of the word mineral, right? Okay. So a mineral is a naturally occurring inorganic solid with a definite chemical composition and a crystalline structure. Okay. Minerals are the building blocks of rocks and are found in various forms in the Earth's crust. So they're not just found in the Earth's crust because they are also part of your physical vessel, right? And so some common examples of minerals include quartz, feldspar, mica, and calcite, but also androdite, melanite, garnet crystals, which we are. And we are melanite because we are the dark, the black, the dark brown versions of it. So all of these things had me like coming down the pipeline of different questions. So I'm trying to understand, what is a quartz? A quartz is a widely occurring mineral, which I know what a crystal quartz is, but I want definition. occurring mineral composed of silicon dioxide. It is one of the most abundant minerals in the Earth's crust and is known for its hardness and durability. Quartz has a crystalline structure that can form in a variety of shapes and colors, making it a popular choice for both industrial applications and decorative purposes, right? Okay, so they named clear crystal quartz, amethyst, citrine, rose quartz, all of these things. So then coming on down, I said, well, I wonder if I ask Chat GPT, because sometimes, bitch, you just got to take an opportunity and ask Chat GPT a question. So I said, I wonder if I ask Chat GPT exactly what is a cosmolite being, will it know? Because cosmolite came from the grandmother, the internet. She said we're cosmolite being, okay? So I asked Chat GPT, what is a cosmolite being? Cosmolite is not a widely recognized term in scientific literature or common usage, but it may refer to a concept of term related to the universe or cosmic elements. In some contexts, it could imply a being or entity that is associated with the cosmos or universe, possibly in a philosophical, spiritual, or fictional sense. If you have a specific context or reference in mind where you encounter cosmolite being, please, ask for more information, right? Okay. I feel like all of this it keeps coming back to, my name is Quatita. Don't ever call me queen. Queen means prostitute. I am not that. I don't even give pussy out. Okay. So for it to understand what cosmolite is, you say would come up. Okay. And then it breaks it down as being something that is spiritual, an entity being connected to the universe, which is all mental. Again, your brain is different than your mind. Technically, your mind, gratitude, Duane, your mind, and greetings, Duane, greetings, reaction, greetings, y'all. Your mind is a complete flow. Your mind is your ether and energy connected to blood and DNA, because your mind carries memory. It is memory. It is a complete function of intake, input, output. So your mind is not just in your brain. It's not just in your solar plexus. Your mind actually functions through the entire vessel. But your brain is the computerized system. Okay. All right. So then I also asked again, what's a melanite, which I already know, but I just wanted to be able to read it to y'all. I could tell you, but I want to read it to you. Okay. Melanite is a rare black variety of garnet, specifically belonging to the andradite group of garnets. It is characterized by its dark color, which can range from deep black to dark brown, and often as a vitreous luster. Melanite is primarily composed of calcium, iron, and aluminum silicate, and is known for its high refractive index and hardness. Refractive. I had to look that up because I used it. I asked GPT a question about something being refractive, and I needed to understand. Good night. I needed to understand. I hope you can come back and watch it later. Okay. About being refractive. I feel like we don't completely understand or know our vessel. Sometimes I want to turn off the comment section. It's so disruptive and distracting and disrespectful and rude. Sometimes I just want to turn it off. But I feel like we don't understand our physical vessel, which is why I feel like we need a reboot sometimes. Like, please. Please. We need a reboot sometimes. Let me tell you something. And I'm going to get back to this. The comment section is like adults talking and a kid be like, mama, can I go outside? Mama, can you check your hipsy? Mama, can I get something to drink? Mama, can I get some water? Good night, mom. Mama, hey, how you doing, mom? Mom, what was you and Auntie talking about? Like that's what this. That's how that come in. I understand if you're gonna bring some information or you understand what I'm saying. That's different. But some of this shit is distracting and it's rude and it's disrespectful. For real. Knock it off. We can converse about the information we're talking about, but everything else is fucking distracting. Knock it off. I feel like y'all trying to steal my joy. The fuck? These minerals is typically found in metamorphic rocks and is often associated with other minerals such as pyroxene and some other shit that I cannot name. Now, why I found this useful, because it says melanite is sometimes used as gemstone, which in your Melanite Bible, you will see that I refer to us as melanite crystals as gemstones because we are gemstones. Now, why is this important? Because you probably missed it because I had to stop and say some other shit. So you probably missed what the fuck I said. The mineral of melanite is typically found in a metamorphic rock. So I wanted to understand what that means. That means rocks and things that can transform, metamorphosize, which we have done over a periodical time. Okay. So what is metamorphic? Metamorphic refers to a type of rock that has been transformed from its original form through a process known as metamorphism. This process occurs under conditions of high temperature, high pressure, or chemically active fluids, which cause changes in the mineral composition and texture of the rock without the rock melting. Let's pause, because this is how everything else that we about to talk about came into to process. This is how, just by me looking up metamorphic, this is how everything else that I'm getting ready to talk about came into play. Because if you heard what I just said, we're talking about a melanite crystal. That is us. That's why this is so fucking important. Because going in and looking at the complete composition of what it is, it'll tell you how your vessel operates. You understand what I'm saying? That's why it's important. That's why the distractions got to stop. How can you reboot if you don't understand what I'm saying? If you don't understand that your vessel is a crystalline being and how it operates? It is refractive. It absorbs. It does a lot of shit. And if we don't know, then how can we reboot? How can we essentially reprogram your system? You need to know how it operates. They're going to give you some other shit on a physicality level of some other shit, but I want you to understand it like how I got it. That wind blowing hard as fuck. Validation. Because you got to understand that your body is a flow of minerals. So what is a mineral? How do minerals operate? How does it metamorphosize inside of your system? You know what I'm saying? So that's what led me into the other shit. Now, fuck all of the names that they give, you know what I'm saying, associated with the other minerals, the pyroxene, the ambifoli, and all some other shit, the mica. Melanite is sometimes used as a gemstone, although it is less commonly seen in jewelry compared to garnet varieties. It is also, be of interest to collectors. Melanite crystals are greatly of interest to collectors because of its properties. Now, if you remember, I taught a class on melanite crystals and the properties all the way right down, and it tell you all the way right down to how we love, how we absorb, and how we give off bliss and love to other energy beings. So that's the melanite crystal class. That's a whole different thing. But if you have not taken it, that will probably be good if you want to go back and take that too. Now, but the metamorphic is what got me to everything else, because it made me think, right? It says this process occurs under conditions of high temperature, high pressure, or chemically active fluids, which cause changes in the mineral composition and texture of the rock without the rock melting. So I started to think, and I'm like the sun. But the sun is radiation. Radiation is UV rays. So UV rays. So I'm like, I started thinking in the difference in genomes, white people, and melanite, black people, and how the sun and radiation affects our system. What do we really know about that? That's how this all started, from the metamorphic and understanding that word, right? So then I asked ChatGPT, why does, because, and let me pause myself, because I said soul spirit. If that is the case, and genomes are not melanite crystal, right? So their system don't metamorphosize from heat. You understand where I'm going with this? From heat, we metamorphosize in a very particular way because we're minerals, we're crystalline beings. Okay. So I started to question that, and the sun and all of these different things. So then I started to wonder, and Spirit says genomes burn. And I say, yes, they get burned before they get tanned. Why is that? So I asked ChatGPT, why does radiation darken the pigmentation of Caucasian skin of white people? And this is where all of the came into play. Okay, we ready? Radiation, particularly, this is what I'm getting ready to tell you. Come on, Ayana, we charge up. It is our power. But let's just walk through it. Radiation, particularly ultraviolet UV radiation from the sun, affects skin pigmentation through a process that stimulates the production of melanin. It stimulates the production of melanin. Now, let's pause, because I even went to, I love a good definition, bitch. Stimulate. Raise levels of physiological or nervous activity in the body or the biological system. Encourage interest or activity in a person or animal. Encourage development or increased activity in a state or process. Okay? So, the UV radiation from the sun affects the pigmentation through the process that stimulates the production of melanin. the pigment responsible for skin color. So they're really just, okay, you're right. Okay, you're right. When the skin is exposed to the UV radiation, it triggers cells called melanocytes to produce more melanin as a protective response to prevent damage from the radiation. So as genomes are burning, it triggers the activation of the little bit of melanin that they have in their system. And it causes them to darken, which becomes what? A protective shield. It is a fucking protective shield. So for them, they just want to look like us. But actually, they get burned, and it burns and it triggers and activates the little bit of what, probably like neuromelanin or some shit, whatever it's called, that's in their system. And it's like a shield comes up to protect the fucking system. Because your skin is your biggest organ, the largest organ of the body. And so I'll read that last part again. It triggers cells called melanocytes to produce more melanin as a protective response to prevent damage from the radiation. In Caucasian individuals who typically have less melanin than individuals with darker skin tones, this increased melanin production can lead to a darker pigmentation or tanning of the skin. So it's really a barrier. It is a shield. This process not only helps to protect the skin from further UV damage, but also contributes to the overall coloration of the skin. The increase in pigmentation is a natural adaptation to help mitigate the harmful effects. I will read that shit again. The increase in pigmentation is a natural adaptation, to help mitigate the harmful effects of UV radiation, including the risk of skin cancer and other skin damage. It's important to note that while some tanning can be a protective response, excessive UV exposure can lead to negative health effects, including skin damage and skin breaking down of the skin, causing them to age. So now I had to sit for a second and catch that download, right? So when I caught the download, that's when I went to my otter and started to take the notes, right? So I'm taking down the notes, okay? So this is the summary of the notes that I took down in my otter. So this is my notes. This is not from ChatGPT. This is from my download into my notes. The conversation discusses the effects of UV radiation from the sun on skin, particularly highlighting the differences between Caucasian genomes and melanin-rich Melanite skin. And this is just the summary it came up with from the transcript of my notes. So what I'm reading you is what the AI chat came up with in the summary. Dig that. Remember that shit. So UV radiation damages Caucasian skin by breaking down the collagen and causing aging, while it benefits melanin-rich skin by triggering melanin production, which provides a protective pigmentation. This process is described as an evolutionary response to UV radiation, enhancing the skin's resilience in melanin-rich individuals. But they tell us Black people, you need to wear sunscreen. No, you need to wear sunscreen. So what I came to understand, and you'll catch it as I'm reading it, we absorb and transform. It is a power source. But let me slow myself down, okay? My mind was so motherfucking blown, bitch. I'm telling you. So these are my notes. So I say, so the UV radiation from the sun burns the skin, the flesh, the covering of the vessel of genomes, aka white people. As it burns the flesh, it becomes damaged. But the UV radiation, as it absorbs into the flesh of a genome, it enacts the melanin melanocytes, which scatters the UV, which enacts the tidbits of melanin within the genome system, which causes the darker pigmentation because it is absorbing it to protect the remaining part of where the melanin resides. Over time, when genomes continue to put themselves in the way of radiation in front of the UV radiation, aka the sun, it damages their skin, their flesh, because it begins to kill, age, and it loses its collagen. It starts to break down and disintegrate. It becomes like leather. It becomes like putty. Let me pause. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you're thinking. Come on, let's talk about it real quick before I go on. Tell me what your thoughts is. Come on. Leia is absorption. She said, ooh, when I feel sick, I go sit in the sun and I feel much better afterwards. Sounds about white. Mine is blown, but you make it make sense. Everything adds up. I see it by the sun. Rejects it. We're going to get into that too. Y'all so damn stupid. Let me keep reading. Okay. Where I stop it. Okay. So, but it has the opposite effect on melanite skin because the melanite skin flesh absorbs the UV radiation and scatters it. It actually gives the melanite a sense of some sort of like energy power, although it is created and is not a natural source in a sense. It enacts, it triggers the melanin within the melanite system. It makes us more powerful. You have to understand now. That's why they created seasons. Okay. So let me go to my next node. Okay. So within the simulation, the UV radiation has the power to strengthen, empower, heal, produce greater functions in all things except for genomes. Let me get back over here and tell you why that is being said. Okay, so then my next question, because I'm having a conversation with Chat GPT is what's going on. I'm having a conversation with the soul and the spirit, and I'm having a soul and the spirit, having a conversation with Chat GPT. Okay, so then I said, so then is UV radiation refractive on dark pigmented melanin skin? Because I started looking at it as if like, so is it like refractive? Does it like absorb and beam and like refracts out as a light source? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it refractive is what I wanted to know. And so it says ultraviolet UV radiation is not typically described as refractive. Okay. And so is the sun the real sun? It's the only sun we have. It is the sun of the simulation, except for whatever the fuck China then built. Okay, Asia, Japan, whatever the fuck, wherever it's at over there in the Wanchanyang era. Okay. What? That was racist. I don't give a fuck. All right. In relation to skin pigmentation, instead of UV radiation interacts with skin in several ways, okay? So again, the question is, then is UV radiation refractive on dark pigmented melanin skin? So it says absorption. Melanin in the skin absorbs UV radiation, which helps protect the underlying tissue from damage. That's why it does not damage our skin. It damages their skin. What? Y'all so crazy. Slow yourself down, Dorena. Follow along with what we talking about. We're going to get there. We're on our way there. We ain't got there yet. You got to have all of this information so you understand this so we can get there. Because we're going there in just like a couple seconds. So absorption. Melanin in the skin absorbs UV radiation, which helps protect the underlying tissues from damage. Darker pigmented skin contains more melanin, which provides a greater degree of natural protection against UV radiation compared to lighter pigmented skin. Therefore, everything is purposefully done. So if we were naturally really dark pigmented people, therefore they watered our systems down by what? Creating biracial people and children by interacting and putting theirs, but because we trump, right? It takes a lot to water us down, but we are watered down. Okay. So because the lighter your pigment, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Scattering. While melanin absorbs UV radiation, it can also scatter some of the light. Oh shit. Okay, there you go. While melanin absorbs UV radiation, it can also scatter some of the light. This scattering can contribute to the overall appearance of the skin color. Because it kept saying scattering, that's why I wanted to know if it was refractive. So some UV radiation can be reflected off of the skin's surface, but this effect is minimal compared to absorption. So it's not refractive, it's reflective. We absorb it and we reflect it. It's not refractive. So I had it wrong when I was trying to understand it. So it's reflective, not refractive. So that's what I also learned. Okay. Okay. So then I needed to understand this. I asked ChatGPT, I said, so does UV radiation have power or give you power? Because now all I keep seeing in my mind is Black Lightning, the show. And I'm like, so wait a minute. Is the power of this sun, is that our like source of I have the power? I needed to understand. So UV radiation itself does not possess power in the sense of providing energy or strength to individuals. However, it does have various effects on living organisms and the environment. Okay. Vitamin D synthesis. UV radiation plays a crucial role in helping the body produce vitamin D. When skin is exposed to sunlight, vitamin D is essential for bone health, immune function, and overall well-being. So it is a superpower to us. We absorb it and it feeds our body. So now that also gets us into the food source in which we consume. I don't want to, okay, don't let me get sidetracked, but let's go into it because I need to go into it. So, because we are melanite cosmolite beings, we are supposed to eat what is synthesized from the sun. So when we're eating the natural vegetation that is being grown from the sun, it becomes an energy source because it becomes fuel. It is energy and fuel that our bodies need, right? So you have to also look at it like you putting like car oil or transmission oil, right? Because you know how you can't put what is it like the W whatever, the 5 and the 20, right? You got to have the exact whatever that is for your engine oil, right? So you're going to have your engine oil. You can't put engine oil in your transmission. You can't put transmission oil in your engine, right? You got to have, the photosynthesis. Yes. So you got to have the correct shit oil, right? So you need like your strawberries and your kale as a oil and a energy source for a particular part of the body. Cows, chickens, pigs do nothing for your system. It kills your system. It clogs your system. So now your vessel is running off motherfucking. If you're particular about your motherfucking car and you don't want to put regular gas in your car, why would you be putting that kind of food in your system? Your car is sputting and shit because now you got to go and put some fuel injection in your car to make it function correctly again, so it can like diesel gas for a Honda. Right now, like Miss Dorina was going into it because that's what we're going to go into. Like start to look at the seasons. Why do they have it cold? See, they thrive in that shit. That is our kryptonite. The cold weather is our kryptonite. Now, I seen a video where they went and they took some of these Africans long time ago, and they took them over to Antarctica because they thought it would kill them. But what happened was they were so powerful that their systems realigned itself, regenerated itself, and became adaptive to the cold and snow of Antarctica. And they were able to go into the cold water with nothing but some light draws on, and they were swimming and playing, and the genomes was looking like what the fuck we thought it would kill them. We are adaptive human beings, right? So if we're putting the wrong shit of oil in our system, then we are not functioning on the level in which the fuck our vessel should. Therefore, your frequency is not going all the way up to the frequency band inside of the cosmolite system. Therefore, you are not functioning at your optimal or most highest. You're not optimal prime. Transformers. So the UV radiation plays a crucial role in helping the body produce vitamin D when skin is exposed to sunlight. Vitamin D is essential for bone health and all of that. So skin effects. UV radiation can cause changes in the skin, including tanning as a protective response, but excessive exposure can lead to sunburn, skin damage, and increased risk of skin cancer. Mood and energy. You know how we be like, it ain't got hot, niggas about to act up, that sun be motherfucking fucking with people's brain, these niggas be wanting to kill. No. It is the absolute opposite, y'all. Mood and energy. This should answer some shit, okay? Sunlight, which includes UV radiation, is known to influence mood and energy levels. Many people report feeling more energized. This is why I get happy, and then sometimes I be depressed in the winter. Energized and happier when exposed to natural sunlight, partly due to the effects of the light on the body's circadian rhythms. Your pineal gland and the production of serotonin. It makes you happy. So if you're happy, you're eating the correct shit, you're in the sunlight, you're absorbing the energy from the planetary source inside of the simulation, meaning you are, let's get into this. Let's get into it. We're going to get into it. So let me read this real quick. Environmental impact. UV radiation also affects ecosystems, influencing processes such as photosynthesis in plants and other behaviors of various organisms. So therefore, the sunlight is good. It's good to everything except for what? A fucking genome. It burns and kills them. It fucks up their system. Although it will enact the small amounts of melanin that they have in their system and make it become a shield. But over time, it breaks them down and kills them. So within the simulation, the UV radiation has the power to strengthen, empower, heal, produce greater functions in all things except for genomes. It actually kills them. Because the genome is the most unnatural thing upon the planet within the simulation, because they are programs. It is like putting a magnifying glass and plastic together. It is an unnatural source. Okay. So now, so before I get into the hands and the feet, so I said, can the melanin, the high count of melanin in melanin-rich beings, melanites, act as a superpower? That was my next question to ChatGPT. While melanin itself is not a superpower, the higher levels of melanin in individuals with darker skin can provide certain advantages, particularly in relation to UV radiation and environmental factors. Here are some ways in which melanin can be seen as beneficial. UV protection. Higher melanin levels offer greater protection against the harmful effects of UV radiation. This can produce the risk of sunburn, sun damage, and skin cancer, making it a significant evolutionary advantage in regions with higher sun exposure. So we eat it, we absorb it, and then we push it back out to feed the plants, the environment, each other. It makes us happy. It brings our frequency up, and it has the ability to help heal our body. Heat regulation. Melanin can help in regulating body temperature by absorbing heat from sunlight, which can be a protective factor in hot climates. So it helps to regulate your system. Skin aging. Some studies suggest that higher melanin levels may lead to lower skin aging processes, helping to maintain skin elasticity and appearance. I just told you it is an aging reversing process for a melanite, but it is aging for a genome. It is completely opposite. Antioxidants properties. Melanin has been shown to possess antioxidant properties which can help protect cells from oxidative stress and damage. Well, if that is the case, if it protects and helps protect cells from oxidative stress and damage, and up here it also tells you that it is good for like your mental, and it can make you happy and produce serotonin and all these different things. So then Yehuda says, hold on, let me get over here. Okay, so I'm gonna read this part. The conversation discussed, this is the summary, the conversation of my notes. The conversation discusses the adaptation of Africans to Antarctic conditions, highlighting their resilience to cold weather and snow. It references a YouTube video where Africans thrived in Antarctica, suggesting that melanin and vitamin D play a crucial role in regulating the body's response to cold. The speaker's notes that melanin helps the body's system adapt by activating crystalline properties and enhancing electromagnetic energy, aiding in temperature regulation. They also touch upon the body's need to regenerate and regulate itself in cold weather, which is more challenging but essential for maintaining strength and productivity, likening to the body's internal cosmology. Okay, so when we go to the transcripts, I'm not going to read all that because we just talked about that. So they need to go down here. Okay. Okay. So I asked the mother and the governor, I said, how does the difference inside of cold weather and hotter weather, the melanin and the vitamin D, how does that play a role inside of the simulation? Because I can hear it, I understand it, I need to know it, but how does that play a role inside of the simulation here? And so they told me it regulates, we have to re-regulate, right? It helps the being of the vessel to regulate at its core. So the power of the heat from the UV, the sun, the radiation, it helps the melanite body to regulate its system at its core. Okay. Which monitors what the vessel computerized functions and what it activates, in a sense, and triggers, right? The crystalline properties, giving it a stronger electromagnetic wave of insurance of energy, brainwaves, functionality, and frequency. That's the hot. The cold weather has a tendency of malfunctioning the melanite system. It lowers the vitamin D level in the system because it has to regenerate and regulate itself, which is why they do what they do as far as creating seasons within the system, because it's harder for you to stay in a regulatory fashion and to become your strongest and more productive self within the cosmology of all of it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you continue to thrive every day in the way that you should, in the sunlight, right? Because it does greater things for the melanite being, the system, the mind, all of it. And you continue to regulate and regenerate yourself. The cold puts a screeching halt to that. It lowers your level and consistency of the different things inside of the melanite system. Now, your body has to learn to regenerate and regulate itself in each part of each season. Therefore, it's never functioning at its highest optimal level because it has to keep starting over. And so because it keeps starting over, when it's trying to restart itself, you're trying to what the fuck is going on with my vessel? Well, you've just now put pork in it. You've put the pork fluids and oils in it, the cow oils. So now it is not able to regenerate and regulate itself quickly at a high level, because you have now put shit in it, the Mountain Dew and the beer and the Coronas and the Hennessy. It is not functioning at its highest level. So therefore, when it's trying to regulate and regenerate itself, it is missing things. So if you took the soul class, which is up for sale, you have to come through me to get the soul class, right? You would have learned that your energy flows. It comes in from the sole, bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, and it comes up. So now if you have a wound in or a scar or a wound, right? Say for example, because my shin is damaged, right? So therefore, it is seeping ether and energy out of that portal, right? So now as my energy and my ether is flowing up through my vessel and it's regulating and regenerating itself, it is missing some of its vibration and frequency because my ether and energy is seeping out of that scar and that wound that is on my leg. Therefore, it's missing. So now as this one, because this is where it's headed, it's on my right hand side, right? So as this frequency of my ether and energy is flowing up and coming back, because it has to come back up to come out, come up to the frequency band, wrap itself back around, and make it is inertia, right? And so as it has to do that, it's slowing up the process of the ether and the energy flow. It is not vibrating at a high caliber like it should. So therefore, now my knee is hurting. Why? Because it is not getting the ether, is not able to regenerate and regulate itself in that system. Plus, I'm not eating the shit that is good for me. My body is obese. I'm not not in the sunlight. I don't have my feet into the soil. So I'm not bringing up the energy out inside of the simulation that I'm populating. So I'm getting falsified energy and low vibrational ether from all of the shit. You understand what I'm saying? And when the weather is changing via the HARP system, now my body is thrown out of whack again. And so now I have portals of holes from different scarring on my back. I have 3 herniated discs. So therefore, that energy and ether is not flowing up through my kundalini. My serpent energy is not functioning the way that it should, right? So now sometimes it affects the way you think. It affects how your whole system and your brain, your computer, your motherfucking mind, your generate all of this, right? Now, which kind of brings me, I think I'm done with those notes. Yes, I'm done with those notes, right? I'm gonna come back to the cold weather because I wanna let's do that before we get into the hands. Okay, so what about cold weather though? I asked the GPT, what about cold weather though? So in cold weather environments, the benefits of melanin and skin pigmentation can differ from those in warmer, sunnier climates. While melanin provides advantages against UV radiation, its role in cold weather conditions is less pronounced. Here are some of the considerations regarding melanin in cold weather. Vitamin D synthesis. In colder climates with less sunlight, particularly during winter months, individuals with darker skin may have a harder time synthesizing vitamin D. Since melanin absorbs UV radiation, higher melanin levels can reduce the skin's ability to produce vitamin D in the low UV conditions. This can lead to potential deficiencies in dietary intake is insufficient. Thermal regulation. Melanin itself does not provide insulation or heat retention. The ability to maintain body temperature in cold weather is more dependent on factors such as body fat, clothing, and overall metabolic rate rather than skin pigmentation. So if I need to be a little thicker, I need to be a little fatter, I need to wear more clothes. So now all of that is going to shut down the system. Why? Because I have extra weight on my body that I do not need, should not have on there. I am not a camel. I do not need to store fat. I don't need to store it. Get away from me. The clothes is not natural materials. So therefore, remember how we was talking about the hair and all of these things? Excuse me. It has a harder time bringing in all of the communication and vibration, frequency, ether, and energy from different things. Because now I want you to look at my hand. Okay, you see, let me see, can you see it good? When you look at your hand, you see not just the dark lines, you have small lines in your hands, right? I hate you can't really see it that good. Because this is different from this, okay? Your whole hand, can you see the lines, the smaller lines, right? I'm going to show it to you in just a second anyway. Gratitude, y'all. So they had me looking at it. I'm looking at it, and they're like, your hands are transmitters. They're also input-output. They're communicative devices. You can hold something. It's called shit, I can't think of it. Something. Like if I pick this up and I can hold this belongs to somebody else, I can pick up the energy from it as a transmitter and the antenna source, and I can tell you what this person is, who it belongs to, what it is, right? I can't think of the name of it right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody will put it in the chat in just a moment. So it is a transmitter. These are transmitters. They're input-output devices. And it's actually input and output because I can output the energy. I can give you information as well as absorb information through it, right? And so why is the lines in your hands important? Well, soul and spirit say you must have them on your hands. Why? Let's see. Get to it. Hold on. One, because it's a part of your motherboard. The lines in your hands, it's called psycho something. I cannot think. Hold on. I'll give it to you because I know you want to know, and I want you to be able to look it up yourself and stuff. Hold on. Let me give it to you. Psychometry. Psychometry. Yeah. Also known as a token holding objects, reading, psychoscopy, but it's psychometry is what it is. Okay. Psychometry. It's a form of one of the clairs. But okay, so let me get back to this. I'm trying to hurry because I know y'all want to go to bed. And I don't want to be long-winded and holding y'all. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. So the lines in your hands, the smaller ones, damn it, I want you to see it. You probably can see a little bit. You see it on my thumb, those lines on my thumb. Y'all look at your own hands too. You see the lines on my thumb, not the dark lines, the smaller fine lines that form up your fingerprint. You know what I mean? Those lines, the fine lines that form up your fingerprints and shit, right? Okay. Those lines are these. The green lines, those are what's on your hand. They're transmitters. This is a motherboard. So when you see how you see how when you do you know how you go and you get your fingerprints done and it do the little dots, do, right? It's transmitters. These are transmitters. So those lines on your hands are what you're looking at, the green lines on here. So now I said, well, I need to know exactly. Okay. So we already went over the temples and temporal lobes. Okay. So what is the functions of the wires within the motherboard system? The green lines that you just was looking at. The wires within the motherboard system are typically referred to as traces or conductors. And they serve several critical functions in the overall operations of a computer. Here are the main functions of those tracers. Now, they also is this transmitter. Power distribution. Traces carry power from one power supply to various components of the motherboard, including the CPU, RAM, and expansion slots. They ensure that all parts of the system receive the necessary voltage and current. That is just like this. You send, receive, you can hold and charge, right? You can put your hand up to somebody else's hand. You can feel that energy. You send, receive. You can get information. When you are in prayer in church, what they say, hold your hands up. Hold your hands up. Receive it from the Lord. So that is what you're doing. You're inputting the energy and receiving communication. That's what they do. Data transmission. Traces facilitate communication between different components of the motherboard, because these are chakra points as well. They're chakra points, right? They input energy and they are manifestation beings. So you can manifest, because you can manifest your money with it. Your hand is itching, what they tell you, girl, you about to go get some money. So that is your signal. They let you know that you have a frequency coming in of something that you were manifesting, that you're bringing in. Something, it's a transmitter. It's telling you something, right? Communication between different components of the motherboard, such as the CPU, RAM storage device, and peripheral devices. They transmit data signals, allowing components to exchange information rapidly. Signal routing. The traces help route signal between various parts of the motherboard. This includes connecting to the CPU, to the memory and other peripherals, enabling them to work together seamlessly. That's just like you holding people's hands. They become tingly. You move energy through it. This is why we do our motherfucking hand gestures. We're calling on, we're bringing, we're manifesting, we're communicating. Okay. And so you have them on the bottom of your feet too, your soles. These are soul portals. Soul portals. So you have them on the bottom of your feet too. They're input, output. Okay. Now your skin, the brown part is a little different. It's a little different. Okay. And you can continue to look up what the traces are and get more information. Okay. But I just wanted you to have that understanding. So now that is let me see if that's all that I have. I think that's all that I have. Okay. That is all that I have. I had to rush. I was in the shower trying to help her get out the shower. So I said, we got to pause and the download, because I don't want to forget nothing. I fuck around and forget every fuck thing and be out here like, so I said, because some of this goes into what's inside of this Melanite Bible, right? And it was a key point. I was like, well, I could open up the Bible and just look at that, you know. And this is the new one. Okay. So let me just look real quick to see if I see really quickly what the fuck. So much information in here. I don't know. But that's what I have. I think I'm gonna hold off because I don't want to just pull it up. I want to be able to actually, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it correctly. Okay. So that is what I have. And that's why I feel like it's so important for you to have that kind of information in order for you to reboot your system, right? So how we were deleting and uploading and downloading programs, right? But what happens if you reboot your system? So in a rebooting of the system, that means how we go when we do like a 3 to 7, 10 day fast, or changing up your diet. You're rebooting your system. Drinking plenty of water helps to reboot the system. And what I learned from Dr. Yaki is this: You can eat your water as well. So that means like pineapples, cucumbers, melons. That's how you eat your water as well. So it's okay to eat your water intake to help to reboot the system. Now, again, if you're going to reboot your system, just how you do your mind, right? So if you're going to reprogram, you can't just keep putting programs, but you're not deleting the viruses that you have in there across all space, time, frequency, dimension, and parallels, right? You got to get rid of those viruses, even if the viruses is coming from childhood trauma and abandonment. You got to come to your senses on some of this and say, damn, that was fucked up. It hurt me. Fuck that, fuck them. But guess what? I'm going to reboot my system. I need to get rid of that. That means I'm going to try to delete that from my everyday thinking, because you will have those parasites, lower level energies that will keep rerouting that information because it is on a loop inside of your mind. You're inside of the hell here. So you're inside of the loop and it'll keep playing. You need to get rid of that. Delete that shit. Did it happen? It fucking happened. It's in the past. You can't change it. You can't redo it. So why do you keep reliving it? Get rid of it. Right? Delete that shit. Is it fucked up? Yes. Did your mama punch you in your eye 17 times? Yes. That shit is fucked up. Fuck that bitch. Don't talk to her ever again. Delete her from your system. Make that bitch not even exist. You ain't got to go and kill her in the physical. You kill her out of your fucking simulation. You kill her out of your experience. She holds no more weight to you, no power. You delete that. You delete the memory. You stop going back to it. You know it happened. You can't redo it. You can reboot that system. You can reprogram it by killing it, not thinking about it. So what do? I now download some new shit. I don't give a fuck if you got to look at yourself every day and keep lying to yourself till you think you're beautiful, bitch. Play the role, reboot your system, reprogram. So now, you know what? I'm going to reboot my system, so I'm going to eat different. Once I start to eat different, like, bitch, my nose do kind of make me look cute, though. It do. I think I'm gonna drink some more orange juice tomorrow or today. And so I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna reboot and I'm gonna reprogram. So now, because if you keep putting the good shit in to the physical vessel without deleting the bad shit that you're putting into the system, just like your mind, just like your supercomputer, then that bad shit is going to expel because you're so used to the chaos. You're so used to the fucked up shit. Like the lady was telling me today in her session. She said, I don't know why I keep going back. I was vegetarian. I was vegan. I was doing great. I lost weight. I was feeling good about myself. And then I started eating the shit that I know because you did not get rid of that shit. In your mind, this is the punishment. This is temporary. I'm just trying to lose a little weight. I'm on a diet. No, I don't need to be on a diet. I need a whole system reboot. So I'm not going to be waiting 6 months to eat that. I'm not being punished. I'm being favored. So you have to change up your thought process and what program you are downloading into your system. You got to get rid of we all got to die of something. Bitch, not me. I'm going to live forever. Not me. You got to get rid of that. Now, you can't reprogram your mind and get rid of all of the fucked up apps that you have downloaded that have viruses in it inside of your mind. And then also start to reboot your system, your physical vessel system, and get rid of all of the ho-hos, ding-dongs, and shit that you shouldn't be eating, including the Roman noodles up there, Quatita, the fuck. And start eating vegetation, and then still fucking this dirty dick nigga or dirty pussy bitch, and whose system is fucked up. Because guess what? You're a transmitter. And you're absorbing that energy, and now you can't figure out why the fuck I keep going back to doing the wrong shit, because you're absorbing the energy from the wrong shit, bitch. Hello. You're consuming it. You're eating a pussy. You're consuming that energy. It may smell great, but it is not great for you and your energy source. It is damaging to your vessel and to your energy. So, just so you know, okay? Gratitude. Yes, you can purchase the soul class for me. That is $50 though. Okay. I promise you, I really feel like it's worth it. Okay. Audrey didn't get a chance to put the Melanite Bible back up on the website, but I'm gonna put that back up there. We'll probably have it by this weekend, like tomorrow. I'm also gonna be putting up I think the Tetanus and Teglatron class on Eventbrite as well. But you can come through me to get, you can't go through Eventbrite to get the soul class. You got to come directly through me. Y'all know how you purchase the Zoom classes when it's like, the Zoom videos of awesome. I don't know yet, but I think I'm going to do a sit down with Mo3, how I did with DMX and shit. I'm thinking, Aubrey was trying to talk me into it. But of course, that'll be for sale if I do that, bitch. So I'm thinking about, I might do that. I don't know yet. But how you purchase that is exactly how you will purchase this class. I'm going to make a flyer and put it up so people know that you can just purchase the soul class from me. But this here was some free shit that I just wanted to share so we can reboot. Please reboot. So your programming will show up to you in a better way. So your system will be in a healthier place. So so your body can start to regulate, regenerate, and reboot itself, right? Because then it can start to heal itself in a very particular way where you didn't think you could ever walk again, bitch. The devil is a lie. Okay, gratitude. Amen. Amen. Yes, gratitude. Solitude de why, solitude de she el monte to the highest of the falcon eye, dragon eye. I show gratitude. Akaya el buti, she el monte. Okay, I show gratitude. I love you to life. That's what I just explained. I said we'll be putting the Melanite Bible back up for purchase on the website. Like this weekend, probably tomorrow at some point, but by this weekend, we're going to have it back up on the website. And that's at walkwithancestors.com. Okay. So I love y'all for sure. Solitude de why. Okay. I'm going to let y'all go get some sleep. All right. I love y'all. Gratitude.